Chair recognizes Ms. Kamlager-Dove.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I want to thank all of you all for spending today with us. I know it's been long. I especially want to thank our service members for your heroism and your sacrifice. It takes courage to serve our country, and it also takes courage to share your stories and your pain. As your testimonies highlight, which I read before coming here, when it comes to the withdrawal from Afghanistan, it is imperative that this committee conduct robust oversight and engage in a full interrogation of all the facts in order to uncover lessons we desperately need to learn about the failure of our involvement in Afghanistan. You all have made powerful points about the obligation that we have as a country to help those who suffer from persecution and tyranny. What started in August 2021 is far from finished, and the test of our commitment to our Afghan partners is not about what happened just over those 2 weeks, but the way we continue to support them in the months and years ahead. So, Ms. Mackler, you pointed out that the administrative burden of putting together an application is on the applicant at risk, even for information the United States government already has access to. I know that Project Rabbit is a new effort by DoD to verify the employment of SIV applicants who worked with DoD contractors. From your perspective, has this mechanism improved processing times, and are there any successes that we can implement in other parts of the application process?
Yes, absolutely. From everything I understand, the DoD's Project Rabbit really did help move applications through. One of the peculiarities of the SIV program is that you require chief of mission confirmation that of the time in service, and that it meets all of the requirements, and that it was satisfactorily done. And that means that an applicant, often at risk or in danger, where they are, has to gather the paperwork that proves their employment, that proves their service, to reach out to the chief of their mission, who may no longer be, available, and to get them to issue the letters that they need. And so putting that burden back on the U.S. government, which in theory should have all of that paperwork far more easily accessible, instead of putting it on the applicant, who is often scrambling, often has no longer the connections or the ability to contact, especially when military personnel get deployed from one place to another or go up in rank, things like that. I mean, I was one time asked if I had a connection to General Petraeus, because that was who was needed to give the chief of mission approval, and I don't have him on my speed dial. So these things that create very real obstacles, and the chief of mission approval has been a bit of a drawing line in the sand. Without it, folks not only cannot continue with their SIV application, they aren't able to qualify for the relocation flights. When the administration did in end of July and August start moving SIV applicants into the United States, it had to be past that stage. And so expanding projects like Project Rabbit, from all accounts, would help speed that up. And in general, putting that burden back on the U.S. government to find within their files information they should already have would certainly ease the burden on the applicant.
Thank you for that. You also mentioned in your testimony disparate capabilities in the U.S. government's Uniting for Ukraine program, in contrast to the challenges of the Afghan system, especially when it comes to managing out-of-country processing. So can you provide some more detail as to what the differences are and what improvements are needed to ensure our treatment of Afghan refugees matches our treatment of Ukrainian refugees?
Sure. I mean, to put it simply, after the fall of Kabul, many Afghans who didn't qualify for any immigration options started applying for what's called humanitarian parole. I think at last count, over 70,000 applications were still pending, and the U.S. government told us that they had no ability to adjudicate them. Each application costs $575 per person. I mean, if you have a 6-month-old baby, you're paying $575 for you and $575 for your 6-month-old baby. These applications just kind of piled up, and they said they had no ability to adjudicate them. They had no ability to create a categorical program by which people could just apply based on under an Afghan-related category when Ukraine when the Ukraine invasion happened and the U.S. government looked at how to help Ukrainians who also needed protection, they created a categorical program to help people apply for parole and come to the United States. And I think that there are a lot of differences, both in terms of the experience, the resources, the personnel, the leadership that these departments had, but it is clear that the government could do it because they did it for Ukraine, so they should do it for Afghans as well.
Thank you. And with that, I yield back, Mr. Chair.